Hello everyone, welcome to SwitchUp, as we once again have a look at some of the games coming out for the Switch in this upcoming week. In terms of dates, we're going from the 25th of January up until the 31st to see if there's anything coming that's worth your time and money. So which games are coming out for the Switch this week? Well, let's find out. First up then we have the Stone of Madness, which is a real-time tactical stealth game set in an 18th century Spanish monastery. It says that 5 prisoners plagued by cruel punishment, madness and despair pool their skills and resources to face their phobias, stave off insanity, uncover the mysteries of the monastery and find a way to escape. You'll have control of all 5 characters and use their unique upgradable skills to cast spells, assassinate targets, distract enemies and explore the hard to reach areas of the monastery. There are 2 campaigns to play through, each with its own stories, objectives, special characters and other surprises according to the blurb, and it says that time is continuous in this game with actions having consequences and players must consider their time of day as they make decisions. It uses a hand-painted style for its aesthetic and it will release on the 28th of January for £24.99 or your regional equivalent.
Have become as much of a prison as the crumbling walls of this monastery. We must find a way out. We must escape, or I fear we will succumb to the madness of this place.
Then we have Neptunia Riders versus Dogoos, I think that is. That's a word I've never said before. So Neptunia, I believe, is an RPG, isn't it? Hyperdimension Neptunia. But this is a motorcycle combat action game with 6 playable characters. It says you'll be scouring the land on your trusty bike and collecting as many variants of Dogoos as possible to win. You'll make your way through 15 stages and you can customise your bike as you play through. A very bizarre sounding game. I mean, it's not unusual to see characters from one type of genre being put into some sort of vehicle game, but I've never seen one where you're trying to collect dogs, and certainly not one where they're called Doggos. This is out on the 28th though if you are interested, and it will sell for £35.99. Next then we have Cuisineer, a roguelite flavoured dungeon crawler, it says here, and restaurant sim to boot. Your protagonist receives a letter from her parents and on making her way home finds her parents gone and their restaurant abandoned. It says left with mounting debts and a village in dire need of some fine cooking, Pom will have to delve into the deepest dungeons for the scarcest spices, rarest meats and the most valuable vegetables she can find to keep her parents' dream alive. You'll be wielding your cooking utensils against giant chickens, artillery shrimps, fire-breathing peppers and other pesky perils, sipping boba tea along the way. You'll explore procedurally generated biomes such as the Green Ruins, Frozen Fjord and others, and can cook over 100 different recipes from around the world. I do really like the idea of this. It sounds a bit like Moonlighter in that respect of having a shop but obviously going into dungeons to find resources to sell. It plays from an isometric viewpoint by the looks of it, and it does look very pleasant, I must say. Certainly one to keep an eye on. It releases on the 28th for £24.99 or your regional equivalent. Also this week is Tales of Iron 2 Whiskers of Winter. This is an action RPG where you'll need to journey through the vast snow-ravaged lands of the north in an epic quest to overcome the Dark Wings once and for all. It's narrated by Doug Cockle, as was the first game in this series, which is also on the Switch. And if it's anything like that first game, it will be a very difficult Souls-like game in terms of its combat, with dodge rolls, parries and what have you, as you make your way across a number of very bleak landscapes. The first game was very good. We reviewed that one on the channel, really enjoyed it. Be interesting to see what this sequel brings to the table. It's out on the 28th for £22.49, albeit you can get 20% off that price up until just after launch.
As we dare hope. As Arlo, son of Eivor, prepare to embark on an epic quest across the vast realms of the Northern Wastes.
As well as that, we have Wizardry, the 5 Ordeals. This is a dungeon crawling RPG based on a series that's been running for many years now, and it says that this particular game was created by the main staff that worked on the RPG series back in 2006. Players can experience many different dungeon crawler RPGs using the same base system, available with enhancements to the UI and much more according to the blurb. You'll create your own character, much like a traditional tabletop RPG, and venture into a grid-based dungeon with a party of up to 6 members. The turn-based combat mixes the simplicity of JRPGs with the difficulty of tabletop RPGs. It says your character can be lost forever and saves will be overwritten. Get ready for a classic hardcore adventure. This releases on the 29th for £33.50 or, again, your regional equivalent. We also have Phantom Brave: The Lost Hero, a new game in the Phantom Brave series which I believe started in 2004, with that particular entry releasing on the PlayStation 2 initially and then saw ports to other consoles, including the Nintendo Switch. It says you'll join Marona, a gifted young girl with the power to speak to phantoms as she traverses the ocean world of Ivory, I believe that says, providing aid to those in need. When a fleet of ghost ships attack, it's up to Marona and her friend Apricot to assemble the legendary crew that once defeated these spectral foes. You'll need to recruit phantoms, bind them to objects, combine them with gadgets, and even merge them with Marona herself to unleash show-stopping abilities and sink the shipwrecked fleet. This comes via NIS America and is quite expensive at £53.99. Thankfully though, it does have a demo that you can try first. It releases on the 30th if it is one that interests you.
A fan to blow enemies around. Or combine with Marona herself for show-stopping abilities that can turn the tide of battle.
Then we have ROBOBEAT. Here you play as a bounty hunter after your latest target, and to find your way through this twisted techno playground you'll have to master the art of shooting, wall running, sliding and bunny hopping, all in sync with the beats. It calls itself a roguelite remix. You'll make your way through procedurally generated levels, equipping a number of different weapons and then making your enemies face the music with an orchestra of guns and melee weapons. Quite an interesting concept that, to have a bounty hunter first person shooter, at least that's how it looks in terms of the screenshots, but set to music with you having to stay with the beat. We've seen that used with other games in the past, things such as Cadence of Hyrule, where it takes one genre and merges it with a rhythm game. Could work quite well, we'll have to see. It's out on the 30th for £17.59. Next is, and you'll have to excuse the pronunciation, Basureroes Invasion I'm going for, which is a 2D platform game with, according to the blurb, a retro aesthetic. You have a group of heroes with different abilities and you must save the world from an alien invasion, running, jumping and fighting your way through 20 levels full of danger. There are special levels and levels that mix it up in terms of having vehicles to control. Spaceships, motorcycles and minecarts are mentioned, and it does have local co-op play for up to 4 players. Not quite sold on the character models, at least from the screenshots that I can see, but it releases on the 30th for £10 or your regional equivalent if you want to give it a look. The penultimate game for the week is Laika, Aged Through Blood. This is a Western-inspired Motorvania set in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. It's basically a Metroidvania where you play on your motorbike. You'll be using it to traverse the land and also taking out enemies with your weapons whilst never leaving your bike. You'll race through the wasteland, performing dangerous jumps, shooting enemies in slow-mo and reloading your gun by performing a backflip. And you'll use skill-based power-ups and persist challenging battles against big bosses, according to the blurb. Very interesting idea to take something as well versed as the Metroidvania by this point and infuse it with something very different in terms of how your motorbike and being on it at all times will change your controls and how you approach what would otherwise be quite standard levels, say for example, or environments. It's out on the 30th for £15.99, albeit there is 35% available off of that price up until launch date. And finally for the week then we have Citizen Sleeper 2 Star Wars Vector. This is a sequel to Citizen Sleeper, which released in 2022, and it says you are a sleeper, an emulation of a human mind housed in an artificial body. You are on the run from the corporation that made you and the gang that seeks to control you. You'll need to commandeer a ship, build a network of crew and allies, and take on challenging contracts as you seek to build yourself a future. It uses a dice-based system, revised for this sequel, and each character class now has a unique push ability that can help you turn the tide of a difficult job or send you into a dangerous spiral, depending on how and when you choose to use it. I do remember the first game, though I never played it, so I'll be interested in this sequel for sure, as long as you can play it without having played that first game. This one's out on the 31st for £20.99 or your regional equivalent.
Stop the whole thing blowing up in our faces. Or Eugene. He's a loudmouth, but he's tough as hell. Although he did forget to tell us about Vesna.
So there you have it, another week of Nintendo Switch releases. That looks like a decent week to me actually. You never know for sure until you've got the game in your hands of course, but some very interesting looking games there I would say. Let us know in the comment section if you'll be picking any of them up. Don't forget, if you are looking for eShop credit to pick any of these games up, you can use our website switchup.gg. Doing so will get you 5% of your purchase price back as cashback, and it does help the channel out, which is very much appreciated. If you're looking for something else to watch, my latest GB Bricks episode is up. This is my Lego channel, and part 2 of my Building a Mock series has just gone up. In this I'm building a sweet shop from scratch. Part 1 looked at the design stage, and part 2 we start building, we build the ground floor. So yeah, it'd be lovely if you could give that a watch. I'll put a card to it in the top right hand corner. A quick thank you to our patrons and our channel members for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, and until next time, happy gaming.